In this great city, we've come to be. Live, love, London TV.
Rumour has it you've started a new grime blog. Can you tell us what inspired that?
I did English at uni anyway, so I like to write. So I think just from there it was kind of a thing of I want somewhere to be able to display my writing and get my friends to come to a grime rave and show that it's not actually as bad as everyone thinks.
From the outside, it seems like it's kind of a male-dominated genre. Do you think people would be surprised when reading your blogs, knowing that it's written by a girl?
There are girls in grime. They're not as prevalent as men. This is quite like a male-heavy genre, like you said, so people would probably react and be a bit like, oh, that's a bit weird that she's into that and not, I don't know, slow jams or whatever, like a more female genre is.
So what inspired you, like how did you first get into grime?
So from a young age, obviously, probably when I was about 13, 14, I think that's when grime sort of started to come up. So you had like Wiley, you had Roll Deep, all the standards that everyone knows today. You can name them in mainstream and know who they are. I've never had any trouble at a grime rave. I've never had guys like pull me or like things that you get sometimes at hip hop raves. And I think in some ways people misunderstand grime because they think it's really aggressive. But actually, whenever I've been to a grime rave, I'm in a t-shirt, I'm comfortable, like that's my style anyway, so I think it just sort of naturally went from there, and I enjoy the sounds of it. Like, I don't know, it just gives you, with any genre of music that you like, it just gives you that passion. Like when you're there, you're like, yes, like this is my tune. Like that's how I feel about grime, I guess.
So would you say that there's a kind of pressure on Londoners who are involved in grime to kind of sell out to a more mainstream audience? Yeah,
I do think they sell out, straight up. I think they sell out sometimes, and I don't understand why, because I think if you're dropping a tune that's so good and you're getting good feedback off it and you're building up a fan base basically, why would you then listen to managers or record companies and say, do you know what, yeah, you're right. It's like, no. And then people that have made it commercially and introduced more underground, proper, true grime songs, they haven't really brought anyone through with them as much as maybe like you see in America. You've got A$AP Rocky made it big. He's got his A$AP Mob, now he's pushing through A$AP Ferg, everyone else, and I think that's a really good thing to do, and that's what you do naturally as friends. Yet for some reason in grime you don't have that so much. You have one member of a crew that might make it big.
Can you give us some examples and actually name drop? Do you mind of artists who are actually, like, I don't know, compromising the real grittiness of grime to kind of push through to the mainstream? Who's doing this? Please, who?
All right, so please no one come after me, but up until recently-ish, Skepta. It's a perfect example of this. So I did my dissertation in, must be 2011 now, and I focused on the top 5 grime albums at the time. Skepta was one of them, and can I swear? It was a fucking shit album. It was so bad. It really made, I sat there and I had to listen to it for my dissertation, and I just thought, this is a pile of shit. I've got Jamie's album here. I've got even Wiley's album, okay, Race Against Time. Like, it was not great, like compared to all the stuff that he's put out, but it's still a good album I would sit and listen to, and it's got some bangers on there. Oh my God, I don't know what Skepta was doing. Anyways, so he did all of that, and he had his he had his videos and whatever, but who did he bring with him? What did he then do next? And then I feel like if you compare it to the stuff he was doing before, that was like real grime. And then obviously got a record deal off the back of it and made some really terrible shit, bubbly, funky housey, but not quite good to call it funky house kind of tunes.
I guess grime is a very, you know, like London-born UK kind of movement. What do you make of the grime scene in the US?
That's a hard question. Chip just went over to, well, he was meant to be going over before he had his accident to the US to record. Jammer's over there at the moment. So I think slowly, and also, this is another bad example because it was really commercial, but you know, Tiny Temper kind of went over there and was like, oh, this is kind of UK rap more than grime, but I think it has got presence there, but obviously in the same way that it's not as big maybe here, it's not as big in the US. So
I always like pretty much any concert I've ever been to in my life, you always leave feeling so inspired. Like even if your thing isn't music, just whatever you want to do, you just feel like, yes, I can do it. Anyone can do it. Do you feel that you basically leave more inspired when you've been to a grime? Is it that kind of thing, or
Yeah,
feeling that you get?
I think it's just a feeling that you get. I think American artists are quite disconnected in the sense that they're talking about things. I feel like what I'm going to say is quite typical, but they're talking about things like having lots of money and this, that, the other. And even though grime artists do that as well, I think they use their talent more, and I think it's the sounds more than what they're than the actual content sometimes. And I just think it's funny, like, you know, some of the bars are so ridiculous. You just think this is, yeah, but it's just, it's just so funny that you just think like, these guys are just having a laugh, like they're there to have a laugh and make money and chill, and they're doing everyday things.
What's your favourite grime tune, or what are you listening to the most at the moment, Amie?
Big Nasty, What's the Story, Brixton Glory. I love that tune because it samples Oasis, and I've written a bit about it on my blog, and I think that stood out for me the most because it sounded kind of commercial, but without going too far. Like, it was a really good balance, I thought.
If you had to choose a grime artist or a crew, whatever, to take with you to a desert island, who would you pick? And why, obviously?
I would pick... on a desert island. Are we ever getting off this desert island? No. Okay, so in my head I'm thinking I'd have to pick someone fat like Big Nasty, because when times get hard, I will eat him. If I can't find food, he's going to die first, and I will have something to munch on. And in the early days, he'll provide me with a lot of laughs as well. But I guess if I had to take a crew, maybe I'd take Roll Deep, because there's loads of them, and like I could, you know, send them all off to do their different things. And one of you, yeah, I'm always going to be the leader. I'm without doubt going to be the leader, because as much as I like to have fun, I can be a bit of a, you know, yeah, a bit of a girl in that sense, and I'll just be like, yeah, can you do this? You need to do that. Be a bit more organised. So I think that would be anyone that's in a crew, really, because then I've got members of my team that can climb trees to get coconuts and all of that. So, yeah. And then they can make music for me and, you know, get those bamboo sticks out, and we can make a whole party out of it. And then, yeah, we'll just, whoever the weakest one happens to be, then we'll just have to munch on them as an instant.
Amie, would you mind like spitting us a little tune?
Well, you know, I like to write about grime. I don't usually do this, but...
For the hustle from the street to the slammer, they're trying to see if Busy stays true to his grammar. Being a celebrity don't mean shit to me. Fuck the glitz and glamour, hit 'em with the blitz and hammer.
There you go.
Just before we go, we wanted to ask you whether you believe that there is life on other planets.
You two, man. See what I have to put up with. Do I believe there's life on other planets? Yes, I do. I was in top set science, and I'm telling you now, there is life on other planets. I do believe
Love it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so if you're interested in finding out more about Amie's journey with grime, you can follow her at AimseyK or The Grime Report, or log on to www.aimseywrites@wordpress.com. See you later.
Freestyle for the meanwhile, we ain't in this. We charge a premium rate.